Meeting future global demand for animal protein is a particular challenge for the food industry. How does the industry respond to growing demand and increasing consumer awareness of the environmental, animal welfare, and health problems arising from intense fish and livestock farming? Cell technology company Avant Meats believes its cultivated fish meat is just the beginning of a cleaner, safer, healthier, and more abundant future, as Patrick Falk reports from Hong Kong.
Classic Cantonese with a twist.
This, we know exactly where it comes from and is 100% pure.
The signature ingredient works just as well in the modern European dish. It's a delicacy from fish on Chinese menus, rich in collagen and protein. But this variety is no ordinary fruit from the sea. It began life here as a single cell inside this temperature-controlled incubator. Hong Kong-based Avant Meats uses stem cell and tissue engineering technology to cultivate animal proteins and meat, just as we know it.
We put it in a controlled environment, in a contaminant-free environment, and then let the cells grow. So eventually the cells can develop into what we call a cell line, meaning that the cell can divide indefinitely and sustainably in an environment that will produce the meat that we want.
The technology may be advanced, but the concept is simple. Instead of nourishing an animal for it to grow, the scientists here are directly feeding nutrients to cells.
By removing the intermediary, we can make use of the natural resources more efficiently, and then also we can have the same amount of protein in a much shorter time.
This time-lapse video placed under the microscope shows how the cells double, much like they would naturally on an animal. But by replicating the conditions as they would be on an animal and mixture of nutrients including glucose, amino acids and vitamins, Avant says they can halve the time it takes to grow fish. And that's not the only benefit of cultivating it in a controlled setting. The method Avant uses is 100% pure, 100% sourced to meat traceable, GMO-free, and removes the risk of contamination from environmental pollutants.
For fish, they are exposed to pollution in the marine system, for example, heavy metals, microplastics. For fish growing in fish farm, sometimes we found parasite in them, and so they also, from time to time, antibiotics will be used because the fish grow in a very crowded space. They do get sick quite easily, so it's a process to use antibiotics to prevent them from getting ill. So these are all the pollutants in the meat, conventionally produced meat, which we can totally, eliminate through the process because we grow the cell in a very clean and controlled environment.
It also means the meat can be entirely customized according to taste and nutritional value. Avant's method and process make precise nutrition feasible to cater for different nutritional needs. The first prototype Avant Meats has cultivated is fishmeal, and it's done so specifically with Chinese consumers in mind. But so long as the company can source the right cell line, really the possibilities are endless, and you can replicate any type of seafood you can imagine. Or indeed any kind of meat. The same techniques can just as well be applied to cultivating chicken, beef or pork, but there's an ecological drive behind the decision to focus on fish. Demand for seafood is at an all-time high. Some scientists have predicted at the current rate there could be a total collapse of all seafood fisheries by the year 2050. According to the United Nations, about 2/3 of that demand comes from Asia.
It is definitely very concentrated. Why is so? If you look at the map, there are a lot of coastal cities around in Asia. So that's why people here, we do have a lot of fish in our menu and our traditional dishes. So that's why we eat a lot here, and then I think that is a big problem.
But to achieve what Avant Meats wants and develop a sustainable approach to sourcing seafood, production must be viable. Right now, it's in a research and development phase at Hong Kong Science Park. The company's beta product, Pure Marine Proteins, is on target to be launched by the end of 2021. Avant has developed a patent-pending proprietary solution to achieve large-scale production at an economically viable cost.
The major key driver in the cost of production is the cost of the medium. Over 90% of them are coming from the protein component in the medium. So we have a way to provide a more bioactive form of non-animal protein component into the nutrient, into the culture medium, so that we don't need to put in as much, reduce the consumption, while we can have the same amount of yield in the long run.
And to develop that requires time and investment. As part of its plans to scale and cater to demand for fish around the world sustainably, Avant will decentralize the production by licensing its technology to different operations globally. That could one day mean a world that can source its catch without depleting our oceans. Patrick Falk, Hong Kong.